let's move on to our next section here. I want to get into a little bit about what we were seeing with the ransomware landscape. And as I said, we always touch on this a lot because it does have a high impact to organizations when a ransomware event happens. So looking in Q3, first of all, we're going to look at kind of like all the threat incident types, or the top threat incident types that we saw in the quarter. And in Q3, we kind of saw, email compromise followed by insider threat, ransomware, and unauthorized access were the most common threat incident types that we were seeing. And if we move over to the next slide here, I want to look a little bit at and that one just showed like quarter over quarter. But I want to talk a little bit about the groups that we observed in Q3, because in Q1 and Q2 of this year, there was a lot of activity in the ransomware landscape. We had really big groups like BLACKCAT, kind of shutting down. We had disruption to LOCKBIT. And I know when we were going over this particular chart, George said, hey, I think things looked a lot different last year. And when I looked it up, it's basically like almost 50% of our ransomware cases in Q3 last year were either LOCKBIT or BLACKCAT. So those groups were very, very active last year. And now we see, BLACKCAT has completely fallen off the map, and we see LOCKBIT to a much lesser degree. We did see a lot of activity in Q3 when it came to the group AKIRA. Last year, we had reported on them targeting Cisco, ASA VPN. This time around, they were targeting SonicWall VPN. So we had a lot of cases there. And as is usually the case, after we have significant disruption, we start seeing new groups emerge. And we're still kind of in that holding pattern quarter where we're waiting to see like what group will come to be the most dominant one. But some of the ones that we observed in Q3 were LYNX was one that we saw a lot of, another one called CICADA. We were also seeing one called Termite. Is another new one, and they recently posted a leak site. So we've kind of been seeing some of the new groups in the ransomware landscape. Now, if we go over to the next slide, I want to look, this one is just showing by industry. So again, bringing it back to the theme of the targeting of technology, you can see in 2024, the technology sector accounts for the most number of postings on ransomware leak sites. And then if we move to the next slide, we're going to talk about information stealers. And as I said before, valid accounts, I know we always talk about that on the quarterly, but that's because it's still a problem. And in fact, in this quarter, it accounted for about 35% of our initial access methods that we observed. So it's right up there, neck and neck with phishing this time. So I'm going to let George kind of take the wheel here, and he's going to take us through a pretty big deep dive into what they've been seeing with info stealers.